Good morning to all of you. We'll move the next methods for the microencapsulations. In last lectures, we have discussed regarding the solvent operations and spray drying and spray conveying methods. Before that, we have discussed regarding the regarding two methods, that is uh, phase separation co-observation method, and second one air suspension or the Usam method that we have covered till now. In today's lectures, we will discuss remaining three methods for the microencapsulation process. The first method that we are going to discuss in today's lecture, that is the pan coating method. So pan coating, as we already studied in the tablet coating process, the same process here we are adopted or we are applied for the coating purpose. But the same thing when you are talking about the tablet coating. So in most cases, the coating equipment that we are using, like there are different pans are there, like a standard coating pan is there, perforated coating pan is there, or fluidized bed coater is there. So in this particular pan coating system, it is the oldest industrial procedures for forming the small or coated particles or a tablets. So basically, as we have studied in a conventional pan system, it consisting one circular metal pan which is mounted angularly on a stand, which is having a specific diameter and is rotated on its horizontal axis by the motor. What will happen here? A heated air is directed into the pan and onto the tablet bed surface, and its exhaust by means of the ducts which is come out from the front of the pan. And here the coating solution is applied to the tablet by spraying the materials on a rotating tablet bed. It is a simple method that we are using for the tablet coating purpose. So the same automizing system or same method that we are going to carried out for our microencapsulation study. So a pan coating, here the microencapsulations of literally large particles has become widespread, can be formulated, and this is the widespread method in the pharmaceutical industry. So with respect to the microencapsulation, solid particles which is greater than the 600 micron in size are generally considered essential for the effective coating. So, and the process that has been extensively employed for the preparations of the control release beads or the tablets. So, medicaments which are usually coated onto the various spherical substrate like non-perishable sugar seeds and then coated with the protective layer of the various polymers. So likewise, this particular coating is carried out and we get the micro capsules or micro encapsulated product. So here in practice, the coating solution which is applied as an atomized spray to the desired solid core material, the coating pad. And the same process that we have adopted for the tablet coating purpose, where we are using the conventional pans. So in that conventional pan, what happens here? So perforated pan is there, which is mounted on a specific stand, which is connected with the motor, or which is rotated in a horizontal axis by a motor, and there is some inlet or the nozzles are there which containing our coating solution which is sprayed on a tablet. One exhaust is there that will for your temperature, or that exhaust is for your removing the air from the coating pan. Along with that, one inlet air supply is also there, so that will be provided drying. So the spraying solutions that we are using for the coating purpose, the rate of spray applied and the rate of air inlet as well as the outlet, that plays a very important role in a coating system. So coating is applied as solutions by atomized spray. to decide solid core materials in a coating pan. Usually, to remove the coating solvent, the warm air is passed over the coated material as the coatings are being applied in the coating pan. So to remove the coating solvents, the warm air is passed over the coated materials and the final solvent removal which is which is accomplished by the drying oven. It's a simple process that we have carried out here. So here we can see these are the air automized nozzles. Automizing nozzles are there which is connected with our solutions where we are applying the coating solutions to our fields which we require to encapsulate. Then due to the tumbling effect, this particular particle they are comes in contact with our solutions and they will get encapsulated. So solid particles that are mixed with the dry coating materials and a temperature is raised so that the coating material melts and enclose the core particles and then it is solidified by the cooling, or else the coating materials can be gradually applied to the core particles tumbling in a vessels rather than being fully mixed with the core particles from the start of the encapsulations. So basically the capacity of our pan coater, that plays also important too because sugar pellets, if you are considering 15 to 60 kg, sorry 15 to 16 kgs and 12 to 14 mesh in size, so they are placed in the specific rotating pan, and the syrup or we can say the coating solution is slowly poured into the pellet to weight them evenly, and then another coating material which is sprinkled onto the wetted seeds, and then the pellets were dried with the warm air. So these coating operations is repeated several times. So the final coating is accomplished by the wetting the product 240 ml of the syrup, which is followed by the dusting of 600 gram of talc on a sugar. So they will form one coating. So the pan coating, which is a similar method that we are using for our conventional pan coating system. So where we can see this particular conventional pan system which contains one air atomizers. Here we can see this is a simple diagram of our pan coater. Here what will happen, the particles are tumbled in a pan or other devices while coating material is applied. So from here we are supplying the hot air. This is our tumbling pan, or we can see the coater pan here inside this. So here our material to be coated, the core material is placed. So this tumbling is takes place in a clockwise direction, and inside that particular pan there is a nozzles which containing the spray, the nozzles which containing the solutions to be applied on a core. So to remove the air or to remove the coating solvents, warm air is passed to this particular duct, and at the end drying is carried out. After the excess solvent removal, it will carried out by the drying in a oven. So this is the simplest process that we are adopted for the microencapsulation purpose. So as we have seen, first sugar coating is provided and then wax material that is uh, provided. Just now I have discussed how the means simple tablet that will first get coated with the syrup, and then it is coated with the syrup, and then it is dedusted with the talc powders, and the remaining product is again coated with some wax or the fat solutions. So one half of the material is removed and the remainder is again coated to yield the additional coating. So that microencapsulated materials that we can achieve through the pan coater or the pan coating system, which is the oldest system that is most commonly used in uh, pharmaceutical industry. Now, the another one important method here, that is the polymerizations. So polymerizations, which is a relatively new microencapsulation method, which utilize the polymerization techniques to form the protective microcapsules, which is coating, which is in situ form. So basically, these methods which involve the reactions of monomeric unit, which is located at the interface existing between the core material substance and continuous phase in which the core material which is a viscous. So in this particular polymerization method, it is most applicable for uh, the pharmaceutical or the medical uses that developed by the change in his research by the Michigan McGill University. So there are various methods that we have adopted for polymerizations method, that is interfacial polymerizations is there, in situ polymerization is there, or matrix polymerizations is there. So the core material supporting phase is usually a liquid or a gas, and therefore the polymerization reactions occurs at a liquid-liquid or liquid gas or solid liquid or solid gas interface. For example, in the formations of the polyamides, nylon, polymeric reactions occurring at the liquid-liquid interface is existing between the aliphatic diamines and the carboxylic acid halides. So basically, the polymerization method most applicable to the pharmaceutical or medicine or medical use that developed by the Chang in research of McGill University. So Chang has been able to accomplish the permiselective membrane properties for the microcapsule, which is having coating of nylon, which is formed by the interfacial polymerizations or by the phase separation coagulation technique. So the membrane is typically about 200 angstrom thick, which is having an equivalent aqueous core radius about 16 angstrom. So the microcapsules that have been shown to be permiselective in that protein and enzyme core materials, for instance, but do not transfer out their microcapsules. So Chang's interfacial polymerization method for forming the polyamides with nylon polyamide membranes, which involves the reactions occurring at the liquid-liquid interface and existing between aqueous solutions of the aliphatic diamides and carboxylic acids halides. So the polymerization reactions, which is depends on the fact that acid halides, uh, acid halides like Sevacoyl chlorides, which are nearly water insoluble, and diamides uh, like hexane diamides, which is having the appropriate partition coefficient towards the water immiscible organic phases. Hence, hexadines for hexadiamine, which diffuse to the organic sebasical chloride phase, and condensation reactions which will occur, it will forming the polyamides. So because of the chemical reactions that exceeds the diffusion rate of the diamides into a non-aqueous phase, uh, will be exceeds, and diamine into the non-aqueous phase, and the polymer is deposited almost entirely at the interface existing between the two solutions. So using this phenomena, the Chang that prepare the microcapsules which containing the protein solutions by incorporating the proteins in an aqueous diamine phase. Then the Chang that demonstrate the permiselectivity of the microcapsules which containing the enzymes, ureas, by their ability to convert the blood urea to the ammonia. So the enzyme is remaining within the microcapsules when incorporated within a corporeal shunt systems. So there are three methods that we can use for the polymerizations. interfacial polymers, in situ polymerizations, and third one matrix polymerizations. So in interfacial polymerizations, the two reactants in a polycondensations which will meet at the interface and react rapidly. So the basic of this method is the classical Schotten-Baumann reaction between acid chlorides and a compound which is contained in the active hydrogen atoms like amine or alcohol or polyurea. So under the right conditions, the thin film or a thin flexible wall it will form rapidly at the interface. For example, a solution of the pesticides and the diacid chlorides are emulsified in water, and an aqueous solutions which containing an amine and a polyfunctional isocyanates is added. So there is a base which is present to neutralize the acid formed during the reactions, and at the end the condensed polymer walls will form instantly at the interface of the emulsion droplet. Second one, in situ polymerizations. So in a few microencapsulation processes, the direct polymerization of the single monomer which is carried out on the particle surface. For example, cellulose fibers that are encapsulated in polyethylene while they are immersed in a dry toluene. So usually deposition rates which is about 0.5 micron per minute, and coating thickness range is 0.2 to 75 micron. So the coating is uniform even over the sharp projection. So protein microencapsulations are biocompatible and biodegradable, and the presence of the protein backbone renders the membrane more resistant and elastic than those which are obtained by the interfacial polycondensation process. And third method of polymerizations, that is matrix polymers. So matrix polymerizations, in this process, a core material is embedded in a polymeric matrix during the formations of the particle. It's a simple method of spray drying in which the particle is formed by the evaporation method, formed by the evaporations of the solvent from the matrix materials. However, the solidification of the matrix is also caused by the chemical changes. So to prepare the microcapsules containing the protein solutions by incorporating the proteins in a aqueous diamine phase, a national lead corporations which will utilizing these polymerization techniques. So according to this technique, the monomers like alkyl acrylate, which is added dropwise to the stirred aqueous polymerization medium, which containing the material to be encapsulated means core materials and some suitable emulsifiers are there, and the polymerizations it begins, and initially they produce the polymer molecules precipitate in an aqueous medium which will form the primary nuclei, and after that, as the polymerization proceeds, these nuclei grows gradually and simultaneously entrap the core material to form the final microencapsulation process. So here we can see the polymerization process. So here drug or some monomers and some cross linkers that are added in a polymerization mixtures. We have added some alcohol here, so that alcohol that will act as an initiator. Now the initiations of polymerizations will be carried out here. After the 8 hours of reaction time, first monodiazorous latex formations it will carried out by the polymer precipitations. Now here we have to maintain the temperatures up to 60 degrees Celsius, and we are applying some atmospheric nitrogens here, and at then we will recover the polymeric microparticles. So monodispersed microgels in the microns or submicron size ranges, the precipitations of polymerization starts from a homogeneous monomer solutions in which synthesized polymers which are insoluble, then the particle size of the resulting microsphere depends on the polymerization conditions, which includes the monomers, co-monomers compositions, the amount of initiators, and the total monomer concentrations. This is the basic method that we have adopted for the polymerization process, and there are three methods: interfacial polymerizations, in situ polymerizations, and matrix polymerization which will achieved by the polymerization technique. The difference between the interfacial polymerizations and in situ polymerizations. So interfacial polymerizations, which is the multifunctional monomers, multifunctional monomers which is dissolved in a liquid core materials, which will be then dispersed in an aqueous phase which containing the dispersing agents. And in situ polymerizations, in this process, no reactive agents are added to the core materials. So here we require some initiator, but here we don't require any reactive agents which will start to core materials. In an interfacial polymerizations, co-reactant multifunctional amines will be added to the mixtures. Here the polymerizations occurs which is exclusively in a continuous phase, and on the continuous phase, side of the interface formed by the dispersed core material and a continuous phase. Interfacial polymerization, this results in a rapid polymerizations at interface, and generations of the capsule shell takes place. Polyurea shells will be formed when isocyanates react with amine. In situ polymerizations, initially a low molecular weight prepolymer will be formed. So as the time goes on, the uh, prepolymer grows in size. So that means they are available in first nuclei form, and as the process will proceed, the nuclei get encapsulated rapidly by the further process. Here polynylon or the polyamide shells will be formed when acid chloride reacts with the amine. In in situ polymerizations, it deposits on a surface of the dispersed core material, thereby generating the solid capsule shells. So here we can see the single emulsion technique and multi or double emulsion techniques that we can use for the polymerization purpose. So in the single emulsion techniques, we can see here oil plus emulsifier along with the biocompatible polymer, biodegradable polymers are there. Here we are forming the O by W emulsions, and after the washing with a specific cross-linking agent, or the cross-linking will be carried out by chemical or thermal or the enzymatic reaction, and the washing to remove the oil. Washing is provided, so and we can isolate the microsphere here separately. This is called as a single emulsion techniques. In a multiple or a double emulsion techniques, we are forming the multiple emulsions. First, single emulsions we are forming O by W emulsions. Now we are treated with the oil to remove the excess amount of oil. We are providing the washing to remove the excess amount of oil here. So here first will be our O by W emulsions will be formed, and later on once we added the oil emulsification in oil phase, will form the O by W by O emulsions. And the same process cross linking as well as the washing will give us a isolated microcapsules. Only the double microencapsulations will be, sorry, double emulsion technique that is used for the polymerization purpose here that we can achieve. So this is the polymerization techniques that is used for the formulation of the microencapsulation purpose. So there are three methods. First method, that is our interfacial polymerizations, in situ polymerizations, and matrix polymerizations. Now we'll move to the last methods for microencapsulations, that is multi-orifice centrifugal process. So the Southwest Research Institute that has developed a mechanical process for producing the microcapsules. So that utilizing the centrifugal force to her a core material particle through an enveloping microencapsulation membrane, so thereby affecting the mechanical microencapsulations. So, so this particular apparatus here, that particular equipment or the apparatus which contains rotating cylinders, the essential portion of the device. So located in the cylinder, there is a three circumferential grooves are there. So one countersinks in the intermediate groove, and circumferentially around the cylinder. So the upper and the lower grooves also located around the cylinders, which is carried the coating materials in a molten or in a solution form via There is a one tube is there. Just 1 minute. So in a multi-orifice system, this particular apparatus, uh, which containing one rotating cylinders, the essential portions of the device is located within the cylinders. There are different uh, circumferential grooves are there. Here we can see the different grooves. These are the different grooves 2, 3, and 4 that represents the groove. Countersuns is the intermediate groove 3, which a plurality of the orifice space closely and circle around the cylinder. So here the counter rotating disc is there, and this will be the core material inlet, and this is our rotating cylinder is here. So basically, the upper and the lower grooves, which carries the coating materials, the molten or the solution form. So here, groove number 2 and groove number 4, which contain coating materials, which is coming from this particular tube, these two tubes, coating inlet. Here we can see, and this one for the groove number 4, and this is our coating membrane. The ridge of the coating material goes to an post which serves as the wear over the coating material which overflows when the volume of the upper and lower grooves is exceeded by the volume of material which is pumped into the system. Now, the coating material under the centrifugal force which imparted by the cylindrical rotations flows outward along the side of the immediate groove into the countersunk portions and forms the film across the orifice. Now, a counter rotating disc is mounted within the cylinder. This is counter rotating disc which is mounted over the cylinder to atomize or disperse the core material feed to the central located. This will be our core material inlet through which the coating material is applied. So this will be our counter rotating disc through which whatever the core materials are there that is traveled, and these are the coating materials at the coating membranes where the coating is carried out. Then the rotating disc flings particular core materials towards the orifice, and the core material arrives at the orifice and encounter the coating materials membrane. So here actual the microencapsulation process will be achieved. So the impact of the centrifugal forces which is generated by the rotating cylinders which hurls the core materials to the enveloping coating membranes, so which is immediately regenerated by the continuous overflowing coating materials, and they get encapsulated. So there are various process variables are also there, like a rotational speed of cylinders, the flow rate of the core materials as well as the coating material, the concentrations and the viscosity of the coating materials, and the viscosity and the surface tension of the core material. These are the different factors that we have to consider while using the multi-orifice centrifugal process. Here the embryonic macrocapsules upon leaving the orifice are hardened or congealed or voided of the coating solution by the variety of means. For example, microcapsules that can be flung into the heated or the countercurrent airstream to harden or to congealing coating that containing some residual solvents. Also, the macrocapsules can force into the rotating hardening. So the coating materials, if melt, that can be hurled into the pool liquids It will decreasing the temperatures below the melting points of the coating. Also, the hardening bath can containing the coating non-solvents. That is also capable of extracting the coating solution solvents. So that's why whatever the factors just now I have discussed, because the hardening liquid after removing the microencapsulated products to where it can be collected, so can be recycled to the hardening bath for the reuse purpose. So the rotating hardening bath not only provide the coating dissolution or conveying function, but they also serves as a means of removing the microcapsules from their impact points. So that will reduce the agglomeration tendencies. So we can say the multi-orifice centrifugal process which is capable of microencapsulating liquid and the solids. If solids are dispersed in the liquids of a varied of a very size range with diverse coating materials. So the coating, so the encapsulated products that can be supplied as a slurry in a hardening media or as a dry powders, and the production rate is up to 50 to 75 pounds per hour. That can be achieved with the process. So this is the simplest process where this is one cylinder which containing different grooves, that grooves which containing these coating solutions which is coming from these two inlet for the coating. One rotating cylinder is there. Then one counter rotating disc is mounted within the cylinder which carries the core materials for the coating purpose. Here basically solutions from group 2 and group 4 which will meet at group 3, which having the coating membrane where exactly the coating will be carried out, and uh, the micro or multi-orifice centrifugal process that can be used for the microencapsulations that we can use. These are the methods that we have discussed for microencapsulation purpose. Just we'll take a brief review what will happen in each and every process. So first method that we have discussed, that is phase separation coadjuvation method. So phase separation coadjuvation method, uh, in which uh, three immiscible phase are formed. First phase, that is the liquid manufacturing vehicle phase. Second phase, that is the core material phase, and third, that is the coating material phase is formed. After that, the depositions of coating, and last step, that is the rigidizations of coating that will be achieved. So coating material that can be achieved by the different applications like thermal temperature changes. We can use some non-solvent. We can add some salts also, or by adding the incompatible polymers also. This is a simplet process. First, phase separations will be occurs. Then, whatever the coacervate droplets are there, they will get deposited on our core materials. And at the end, the rigidization will be carried out, and our polymeric membrane will forms in a coacervate phase separation method. Second one, that is air suspension method, which is same as our fluidized bed coating methods, which is developed or which is invented by Rooster. That's why it is called the Rooster's methods also. The same methods here we see one container or the coating coating apparatus is there. It's connected from the bottoms. We are supplying some airs, and from the upper regions we are supplying the coating material. So these particular particles, they are rotating in a horizontal way or circular ways, and they will comes in contact with our solutions, coating solutions, which is supplied by the spraying methods, and they will get they will get encapsulated, and obviously the air is also helpful for the drying purpose. Then solvent evaporation method is the easiest methods. Here we have to add core materials which we have to dissolve or disperse into the coating polymer solution. We have to agitate with the help of One stabilizers or some vehicle phase, and we have to provide some heating if necessary to remove the excess solvent, and we have to extract the solvent. So we have to extract the microsphere, so we'll get the microencapsulated materials. Here, simplest method they have given. Then pan coating, which is similar to our tablet pan coating, which contains one coaters where the core material is placed, and with the help of the nozzle, coating solution is applied on a tablet core, and which is dried with the help of the oven, which contains basically the exhaust air is there and the thermal air is also there. Warm air is passed to the coating material, and finally drying to the oven, which will accomplish the coating process. And polymerization, there are three methods: uh, interfacial polymerizations, in situ polymerizations, and matrix polymerization techniques are there. So polymerizations, this is the advanced techniques where the reactions of the monomeric units, uh, which is located at the interface between the core materials and a continuous phase of the core materials, is carried out. So for the initiation purpose, we have to add some initiators. And after the 8 hours reactions, the monodisperse polymer precipitations will occur, and we can recover the polymeric microparticles. And the last technique that we have just now discussed, that is the multi-orifice centrifugal process, which is developed by the Southwest Research Institute. So in these particular methods, one cylindrical, 1 meter rotating cylinders are there, uh, which containing different grooves. That grooves contain coating materials. One core material inlet is there, and one counter rotating disc is there, which convey the core material through the orifice opening where the coating membrane is there, and through the grooves the coating is applied to that particular core materials, and encapsulation process is carried out. It's a simple process. These are the different methods that we have covered under the microencapsulation process. Now, the evaluation parts that we will discuss, next lecture. So we'll stop here. Thank you.